This is Gadget Stop 321. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing two stub nibs. I'm going to be comparing the 1mm stub nib on my Pilot Pereira and the 0.6mm stub nib on my Jinhao X750. Now, the nib I have on here is actually made by Nemosine. It's a Nemosine 0.6 stub. I'm going to do my writing sample first, and then we'll take a look at the design of the two nibs. Both of these nibs are really smooth, and they are favorites of mine to write with. All right. This is the 1.0 stub on the Pilot Pereira. Sometimes it's called a cursive medium. You'll see it labeled as that, or I have both of these pens inked up with Lamy Dark Lilac. Now notice the difference in the up and down and side strokes. Quite a bit of line variation there. Not very wet, and I've noticed that with my Pilot Pereiras. They're not very wet, but you don't notice it when writing. You don't feel like, you don't get that dry feeling. Like when you're running out of ink, you can kind of feel the dryness in the nib. You don't get that. It's very smooth. I've said this before, it's just a really well-tuned nib. And this is a Jinhao X750, but the nib is comes from a Nemosine Singularity. Very smooth. Not super wet. Now I've got another Nemosine 0.6. I've got two of these nibs because I had problems with this original Nemosine Singularity that they came on. So I have a replacement nib. This one's the replacement nib. The original nib writes quite a bit wetter than this one. I prefer the one that writes drier. Okay, let's take a look. Let's compare the two nibs. Now, in everyday writing, the Pilot Pereira is a little bit more crisp. It's closer to being an italic, but you still get that stubbiness that makes it smooth to write with. And we'll take a look. I've got my loop here that we can see what the two nibs look like. This one, the 1.0 stub, is closer to being an italic. So if you want an italic nib, but you don't want it to be so crisp that it's digging into the paper, you see, it's let me get over here. Yeah, you can see it a little better over there. There's no tipping. The sides are rounded slightly. But it's flat. It's got a flat edge. Okay. This was kind of surprising to me. On the Nemosine, the end is just perfectly round. Let me get this out of the way so you can. So you get just a slight amount of stubbiness. It's amazing how much line variation you get. There's no tipping. And it's round at the end. So I've kind of noticed this before. The 0.6 stub feels like you've got a medium nib. The up and down strokes feel like you're writing with a medium nib. And then the side strokes feel like you're writing with either a fine or an extra fine. Where on the Pilot Prera, the downstrokes are just the slightest bit wider. I don't know. It's difficult to see the difference just with the naked eye. Let me see if I can. Yeah, if you compare these two words, this looks more like you're writing with a medium, but because the cross strokes are so narrow, I feel like I can write more legibly with this 0.6 stub nib than I can with a medium nib. When I'm writing with a medium nib, I have to write larger. With the stub, I feel like I can write smaller and it's still legible. And with the Pilot Prera, I don't use it so much for everyday writing. I tend to use it more for like headers. And I think it would make, I haven't tried this, but I think it would make a good highlighter. Like I've got a little bottle of Aroshizuku Chikurin that just doesn't work great for everyday writing. I think it would make nice highlighter ink. But I like to use the stub for the stub in the Prera, the 1mm stub for headers, and then I use just one of my fine tip pens for just the regular text, and that comes out looking kind of neat. You can use different colors and makes journaling a little more interesting, a little more fun, and you get to use more of your pens. Well, just while I've got it out, just a quick update on my ink journal, my Filofax that I'm using for an ink journal or stationery journal. I'm slowly but surely getting my ink pages, cataloging all my ink, showing how my inks look in different pens. I'm working on my pens, getting them all cataloged. I'm having a lot of fun doing that. And I'm using my little top-loading plastic folder here for my stickers and the little things that come in. Like this stuff all came with my Hobonichi. I think this all came with the Hobonichi Weeks. My little pocket that I didn't use. Just having a nice place to tuck it away in case I come across a situation where I need it. The little map that came with it and the little poster. Just tuck it away in there. And so I am really enjoying using this Filofax as my stationery journal. Alright, if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.